McGregor was found by a jury to be guilty of sexual assault and in a civil case, so there's no jail time for him, but he has been ordered to pay $250,000, if not pounds, to his victim. And where the victim is concerned, the paramedics who saw her, who treated her after the incident, described it as never having seen anything quite like it. Because, and when we then heard the transcript from the courtroom, it was pretty graphic. Conor McGregor is somebody who was recently called out by Logan Paul, not Logan Paul, Jake Paul, as well as Marshall.
Mike Chandler.
Yes, was called out by Mike Chandler. And everyone keeps wanting to get him back in the ring because he's a big draw card. But following his guilty verdict in the sexual assault case, do you think Conor McGregor someone will see in a ring anytime soon or again? And should we see him fighting ever again?
No, I don't think we're going to see him ever again in the ring, because the last two times we did see him, he got put away by Dustin Poirier. One, he had a broken leg. The other one was knocked out. And everyone thought there'd be more in terms of we should see a better version of Conor. And I don't think there is a better version, because while he's embroiled in all these cases and all these controversy, there's booze, there's drugs, or at least he looks like he's under the influence of all these substances, right? So I think his head is far and away from the game, from the fight game. He did the Ultimate Fighter with Mike Chandler. And usually if you do the Ultimate Fighter, pretty soon you get to fight each other and you do have that matchup. But that fell away, and it was slated to happen earlier on this year. And Mike Chandler lost 2 years of his life because he was waiting on Conor McGregor. And I think when you've had those things fall in your place, where you have the Ultimate Fighter, you've got the organization backing you for a mega fight, and you still don't show up for that one because you had a broken toe. And yeah, fighters go into fights with niggles and injuries, right? And does a broken toe stop Conor McGregor of old? The pre-100 million Conor McGregor, pre-Mayweather fight Conor McGregor, it doesn't, right? And I think after he found a way to escape that particular matchup, I don't think there'll be ever good enough or great enough motivation to find him fight again. So I think, never mind just the fight game, Jay. There's so much on his plate at this point in time. I think he's gotten in so much trouble and so much things outside the fight game, because he was fighting with, I think, a former friend of his, Artem Lobov, in terms of the ownership of his Proper 12 whiskey, in terms of who owns what percentage of that, whose original idea is that, who owns who shares. And so he's dealing with a lot of things that are outside of fighting. I don't think he comes back to fight again.
Yeah, Chuck, and I don't think he should. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think he should, because being found guilty of sexual assault, that should be it.
Yeah.
But I think he will.
You think so?
And the precedence is the man we watched at the age of 58 in the ring with Jake Paul, that is Iron Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson spent 3 years in prison for sexual assault, right? And immediately after he came out, he was in the title picture. Now, the difference is that when last seen before he went into prison, Mike Tyson was firmly in his prime. Never quite the same guy in terms of as a fighter afterwards, whereas Conor McGregor, as you so well eloquated, is nowhere near his prime anymore. But the thing about the fight game, Chuck, is that they will hinge their bets on controversy, and if you are a superstar. This is why all these guys keep calling out Conor McGregor, regardless of the fact that I'm pretty certain they don't believe in their heart of hearts that he's a great fighter. But they know what getting into the ring is going to produce for them. And the people who organize fights and the people who get paid for organizing fights, they will find a way to get Conor McGregor back into a ring. And if I do go back to the Mike Tyson example, right, there was sentiment, you and I sat here as well, talking about the fact that, man, it was sad to see Mike Tyson in that state. And because of what Mike Tyson has become in his in the latter parts of his life, and the humility he's taken upon, there's been a sympathy that has gone towards him. And that divides people, right? Because it does not absolve you for what you did. And there's a group of people and whose voices should be heard, that you should never had interest in this man ever again. And as I'm saying, the fight game is dirty, Chuck. And I think Conor McGregor is somebody that we're gonna see in a ring once again. I don't think we should, though, because he's a vile human being. Like, I am all for silent fights, right? And like being controversial. But when you look at the track record of Conor McGregor, he's crossed the line far too many times. There's the dance for me boy incidents against Mayweather, and he was inciting Mayweather's the mother of his children and his children at that event. Right? There's him being in a bar, caught on video in a bar where he's trying to force an old man to have a drink, and when he doesn't, he punches him. There's another sexual assault case which was put on him after he made an appearance at a Miami Heat game. I believe in that same game he was meant to playfully punch the mascot, and he continued to berate him. And then, of course, there's what happened in the bus incident against Khabib, and Khabib and his people feel very strongly against Conor McGregor as not just an opponent, right? And it was very personal when they were in that ring because of his behaviors. And Conor is someone who's walked around believing he's larger than life and that he can just go and do and be and say whatever he wants. And because he's this mega star, he's going to continue getting away with it. But I think, Chuck, at some point with that kind of rep, you have to make a call. I think as a sporting society, we have to make a call that, nah, man, not this dude, right? Because as I'm saying, this is no longer just banter. This is no longer just shit disrespect against somebody else. This is, as I'm saying, an abhorrent human being.